Thank you. Mayor, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for June 20th, 2024, to order at 7:14 p.m. On roll call, we have council members Dennis, absent; Fasolo, absent; Golubek, absent; Pellegrin,
Here.
Troisi,
Here.
Council President Sheridan,
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank God for air conditioning. Can you imagine this evening without it in this building here? We'd all be waving a breeze towards those windows there that nobody could reach in any case. We're going to start this evening with our flag salute, of course, and then a prayer. And we're honored tonight to have two prayers that are going to be said by Rabbi Schultz and Mohammed. So let's all please stand for our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rabbi Schultz?
Mayor, Chief, Foligno, council members, to be here. We are now welcoming summer, which is a wonderful time for family, for vacationing, for community. But it's also a time that we have to increase our own safety, be aware of our surroundings as we travel abroad and domestically. And so I pray that as we embrace this wonderful season, that everyone remains safe, and that we can continue to congregate here on a regular basis in the best of health. I just want to share an insight from our Bible. Some call it the Torah, some refer to it as the Old Testament. In this week's portion, in the sequence of what we read, we address what's called the menorah. Now, many are familiar with the menorah as it relates to Hanukkah. And so it's interesting the juxtaposition of this particular chapter because it's well out of synchronization with the festival of Hanukkah. But the message is the word Hanukkah in Hebrew means dedication, and that each day in the times of our temple, we rededicate every morning. The message is very important, that as we awake each morning and we reflect on the previous day, we have to learn each day from what we fell short on the previous day. Each morning we dedicate ourselves to what makes us unique. We dedicate ourselves to our impact in the world. That all of us play an important role. And sometimes we get sidetracked with who does what. There's an old story about who moved my cheese. We have to stop worrying. We have to come together, continue to come together as a community and celebrate a beautiful summer together. May we all continue to support each other as a community, as friends, and as allies.
Thank you, Rabbi. Mohammed?
Good evening, community members, council, mayor, chief, and of course, council. We are blessed to be here, as the mayor has mentioned, in a cool, pleasant weather. And we just reflect upon our elders who have been sitting in this room prior to air conditioning to work City Hall and to do long hours during the summertime. Today is the solstice. But we also, in Muslim calendar, we are living in the 12th month of the lunar calendar, the final month, and we are having pilgrims coming back that they were commemorating in Mecca and the surrounding area, the ultimate sacrifice that Abraham was going to do with his own son. The message, if you heard today, I bet you anything, the 911 call would be absolutely ravaged. My father wants to sacrifice me. But yet, I'm glad that those messages happened at a particular time. But for all the scriptures to commemorate that sacrifice, what does it mean? What is the intent for individuals and communities? It's for us to be attuned to what God is telling us, and for us to remember that life is very fragile, and for us to honor every moment we have, and to also honor the families and the friends and the alliances that we build. Ask God Almighty to open and soften our hearts to His message, and to adapt to all the changes that are occurring around us, and for us to protect and save our families, communities, operations. Amen.
Thank you, Mohammed. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we honor all religious sectors in Elmwood Park, and that's what makes us a great town. We're a melting pot of all types here, and we respect each and every one of our residents. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now therefore be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing a special meeting notice in the Record and Herald News, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and also by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted and transmitted on January 6th, 2024, and published on January 10th, 2024.
Okay, first up, we have approval of minutes. We have the April 4th, 2024 work session meeting and executive session. Then we have the April 18th, 2024 regular meeting and a special executive session.
We're a little heavy on this side this evening, so I'll be turning my head more so this way. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Sheridan. On roll call, we have council members Dennis, absent, Fasolo, absent, Golombek, absent, Pellegrin,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Sheridan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Minutes approved. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to CFO Roy Riccatano to go over the audit report.
Time. This evening, the law requires me to go over the audit. It was quite a comprehensive audit. It was over 5 weeks. I don't want to call it a forensic audit, but it was pretty close to it. I'm happy to say that the tax office had no comments. It was a perfect audit of over 25,000 different entries done by Lori Spravero and her staff, and over 12,000 entries for payroll, which also had no audit comments. So the only bad boy on the block was basically me, and there were a couple things that were missed, and a couple of them were some of the capital improvement authorizations still need further review. I'm working with bond counsel, and we'll be canceling some of those. As far as the overtime for police outside duties, I'm working with Jobs for Blue, which is the outside company. The audit needs, auditor required some more data, which they're working on for this year. The over expenditure in the grant fund and the current fund was corrected in December, but because the violation was done in 23, and this is a 23 audit, it is in the audit findings. Goods and services were ordered prior to execution of a purchase order. We've had this for about 5 years. We're still working with various departments to fix that. And finally, some of the invoices were paid after 30 days. It was both faults of accounts payable and the vendor, but because it was over 30 days, the auditor put it in the audit comment. There were no material findings whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, it was a great audit, considering the issues we experienced last year. And that was finance, payroll, and accounts payable. The municipal court has already been fixed. That was a change order that had to be authorized by resolution. That was done. And the W-4s were all filed and updated with payroll. That was done. So Mayor, you asked for a perfect audit. It's not perfect, but in this day and age, now with the borough so large, with collections of almost $80 million a year between the county, the municipal, school, and library, it's a very good audit with the amount of people employed in Elmwood Park. This audit cannot be done without the BA's help, tremendous help, can't say enough. And of course, the council with your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. I think it's safe to say with 25,000 moving parts
Yeah.
that to come out unscathed as we have is a pretty good position to be in, to say the least. Council, any comments on this? No? We're all kind of happy? All right.
Moving on to ordinances on first reading. We have Resolution R-202-24, introduced ordinance number 24-12 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Amending Section 7-11, Parking Time Limited on Certain Streets to Further Limit Parking Time on Elm Street," be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, July 18th, 2024, at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the borough clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Michael, would you like to break this down?
Sure, Mayor. There's a deli on Elm Street, corner of Grove, between Grove and Orchard. He has been having issues with people parking in front of his establishment for hours, days, and he requested that the traffic division do an audit, and we determined that there should be a ordinance enacted there for timed parking during his business hours to help him with his business and his customers.
So basically what was happening, the business was getting choked a little. And this is the delicate balance we have to deal with, any community really, where you have business and residential. We have to be neighbors to each other and consider what's going on and be understanding. With that said, may I have a motion on the ordinance?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Troisi. On roll call, we have council members Dennis, absent, Fasolo, absent, Golubek, absent, Pellegrin,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Sheridan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we have Resolution R-203-24, introduced ordinance number 24-13 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting Section 20-4, Policy and Procedures for the Display of Flags on Borough Property to establish a policy and procedure regarding the flying of flags," be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, July 18th, 2024, at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the borough clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Mike?
Yes, Mayor. Several years ago, the mayor and council permitted the borough flagpole here at Borough Hall to fly different flags commemorating certain months or certain cultures. That topic has come back up for discussion before you, and you are proposing an ordinance to only allow government flags on those flagpoles, and that's what you have before you here, Mayor.
Thank you. I want you folks out there to understand that we are not isolating or picking on any one entity in this case. It's broader than that. It's a national concern. And when we think about all that have suffered and died for that flag there, nothing should fly under it less it's patriotic, VFW, POWs, and that's including any other organization. It just doesn't fit. We were advised by our lawyer and our risk manager, insurance manager, that there could be some problems with that going forward. But I just want to emphasize that we are not isolating or picking out any entity or establishment out there. This is just something that we feel collectively should be done. May I have a motion on the ordinance, please?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Council President Sheridan. On roll call, we have council members Dennis, absent, Fasolo, absent, Golubek, absent, Pellegrin,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Sheridan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we have Resolution R-204-24, introduced ordinance number 24-14 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Authorizing a Special Emergency Appropriation under NJSA 48:4-53, Engagement of Special Consultants for a Borough-Wide Reassessment Program," be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, July 18th, 2024 at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in the legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Mr. Rigatano, would you like to break
Yep.
this down for us, please?
So the court's tax collection, the tax office, Hackensack has ordered a reval for Elmwood Park. Before you, the reason we were late is I received another ordinance this evening in reference to the reval from the auditor who has to write that ordinance. I cannot as CFO, so that was the delay. Shanae now has it and the Borough Council has it. So the bottom line is that reval will be awarded this evening via resolution. You now will have the ordinance in place as well. It's a special emergency. It will be paid over 5 years, which is the statute, in the tune of $570,000. No one up here wants to do it, but it is the law, and we have to comply to the law. So the reval will begin sometime in late July, August. It takes roughly 1 year to inspect all 5,651 properties in Elmwood Park. Everyone will be done. What I neglected last time when I was discussing with the public is that also saves many lives. There were countless number of illegal apartments in the attics and the basements that were caught back 15 years ago, or when about we had the last reval. So before you is the special emergency resolution ordinance authorizing the payment to the company, which was done by an RFQ as well.
Thank you. Once again, it's mandatory by law. It's a lot of money, but we have no choice. I just wish that when the feds or the state, they mandatory something, they pay for it for us, but that's not the case. Okay. Any questions on this? We apologize if it's not on your agenda. It was added today. We had to move on this. It wasn't done on purpose. It was just something that we needed to do in a public meeting. Okay? May I have a motion on the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Troisi. On roll call, we have council members Dennis, absent, Fasolo, absent, Golubek, absent, Pellegrin,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Sheridan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we are going on to ordinances on second reading. We have Resolution R-205-24, introduced ordinance number 24-10 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Fix the Salary, Wage, and Compensation of the Officers, Employees, and Servants of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, for the year 2024, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, May 16, 2024, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Fix the Salary, Wage, and Compensation of the Officers, Employees, and Servants of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, for the year 2024, passed on final reading."
Thank you. May I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved. Second.
Would anyone from the public care to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance alone? Please come forward if that's the case. If not, I will close the public portion. May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Troisi, and roll call we have Councilmembers Dennis, absent, Fasolo, absent, Golubek, absent, Pellegrin,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Sheridan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have Resolution R-206-24, introduced ordinance number 24-11 on second reading. Whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, New Jersey, amending the Borough Code and all general ordinances of the borough, more specifically Chapter 4, Licensing and Business Regulations, Section 4.7, clarifying application fees and license fees, clarifying types and numbers of licenses that may be issued," was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, May 16th, 2024, and that for the consideration of this ordinance will be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, New Jersey, amending the Borough Code and all general ordinances of the borough, more specifically Chapter 4, Licensing and Business Regulations, Section 4.7, clarifying application fees and license fees, clarifying types and numbers of licenses that may be issued," passed on final reading.
Motion to open to the public.
So moved. Second.
Anyone from the public here to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance alone? Yes.
Jeffrey Freitag, 35 Hillman Drive, Elmwood Park. The one question I had, and I've had this at prior meetings, we have the numbers, the new numbers, of the amount of licenses for cannabis, correct? We're discussing that right now? Are we?
The question is,
No, I'm just,
just,
we are discussing the cannabis is part of this, correct?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
understood. Now, and I've asked this question before, the micro licenses, you have the total amount of 1 through 6 that you can have or you're going to print. And now how do the micro licenses mesh into that?
It's, without seeing the papers there, Jeff, there's six different micro.
You're saying you don't have the papers in front of you?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Now I do.
okay. So anyway, there's 6
I didn't know
classifications.
you were going to bring this up, Jeff. Otherwise, I would have had the papers in front of me.
I would hope you'd think that anybody might bring something up. Okay, so there's 6 classifications, that I understand, and you're limiting the amount, you're changing some of the numbers, a number, I believe. Now, if a retailer is also a micro business, that's one?
I would think so, yes.
Well, I asked this about 2 meetings ago.
Right. Right.
Nobody else.
We'll get
I mean, because it could be a difference.
We'll get a clarification for you. All right, Mike, can we get that directly sent to him?
Yes, we have to talk to the cannabis attorney.
Right. Yeah, because any of them can be a micro license,
No.
as long as they're limited to 2,500 square feet. So you can have like the one that was turned down on Bush's Lane, that's a micro license,
Right,
the cultivator.
correct.
Okay, thank you. So we'll get that then.
Yeah, we'll get that
Okay.
clarified.
Do you want me to shut it off?
Anyone else care to speak on this ordinance? Thank you. With that, I will close the public portion. Let us move on. We have to adopt the ordinance. Okay. We need a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Troisi, and roll call, we have council members Dennis, absent, Fasolo, absent, Golombek, absent, Pellegrin,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Sheridan.
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, we have our consent agenda. We have resolutions R-207-24, approval of payroll, R-208-24, approval of bills list, R-209-24, authorize current estimate number 4, change order number 3, Borough Park Turf Field, R-210-24, authorized vacation buyback. R-211-24, special emergency revaluation update. R-212-24, award of bid revaluation project. R-213-24, resolution establishing change fund for the Borough of Elmwood Park Municipal Court. R-214-24, appointment of recreation staff for the 2024 summer program, Recreation Department. R-215-24, appointment of recreation staff for the 2024 summer program, Recreation Department. R-216-24, appointment of recreation department staff. R-217-24, approve annual municipal audit report for the year 2023. R-218-24, adopt corrective action plan for the 2023 municipal audit. R-219-24, appointment of voluntary benefits insurance through Combined Insurance Company of America, a Chubb company. R-220-24, resolution for 64 Hamilton Ave, easement. R-221-24, maintenance of 30 Cole Street. R-222-24, approved 2024-2025 new and/or used car dealership licenses. R-223-24, renew liquor licenses for the 2024-2025 license term. R-224-24, authorizing appointment of municipal representatives to the Bergen County Community Development Regional Committee. R-225-24, approved block party request. R-226-24, authorized coin toss events, Defender Company number 4. R-227-24, resolution to approve the consent agenda.
May I have a motion on the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Troisi. On roll call, we have council members Dennis, absent. Fasolo, absent. Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Troisi.
Yes.
Council President Sheridan.
Yes.
Motion carries. For departmental reports, we have the zoning board meeting minutes from April 24th, 2024, and the Recreation Advisory Board meeting minutes from March 18th, 2024, and April 15th, 2024.
May I have a motion to accept the departmental reports?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mayor, this concludes my portion of the meeting. I will turn it over to you for council reports.
Okay. Dennis absent, Fasolo absent, Golubek absent. Councilwoman Pellegrin.
Good evening, everyone. A couple things. My Board of Health update, there will be no meeting in July, and their next regular meeting will be held on Monday, August 12th at 7 p.m. Residents Assistance Program update. This afternoon, we had a thank you luncheon for all who contribute to our program. This program helps our residents in need with many services. This is all because of the kindness and generosity of so many. Working together makes great things happen in our community, and I thank everyone involved. The new Chamber of Commerce update. They had their monthly meeting on Tuesday evening, a very nice turnout. Their next meeting will be held on July 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the VFW. This meeting will be a big networking event for our businesses and our residents. Come be a part of this very special event and learn more about the new chamber. All are welcome to attend. Police update. Statistics from January 1st, 2024 to May 31st, 2024. Elmwood Park Police Department has handled the following: 23,270 calls for service, 3 sexual assaults, 45 burglaries, 60 thefts, 20 missing persons investigations, 10 funeral escorts, 96 general fire alarms, 196 suspicious person calls, 11 stolen motor vehicles, 13 sudden death calls, 230 burglary alarms, 48 assaults, 120 incidents of domestic violence, 3,200 motor vehicle summonses were issued, 740 ambulance requests, 255 OPA requests processed in our Records Bureau, 14 drunk driving arrests, 825 vacant house checks, 98 adult arrests, and 450 motor vehicle accident investigations. I want to thank our police department for this report and for all they do for our community. And lastly, I want to congratulate the 2024 graduates, wishing them all success in their future endeavors. And remember, always dream big, always work hard, and most important, always believe in yourself. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. That's very interesting to recite those stats. It goes to show you what our police force goes through each and every day, each and every week, and each and every month. Moving along, Councilwoman Troisi.
Thank you, Mayor. This past Saturday, we had the summer kickoff weekend. The weather was perfect. I think maybe the turnout was a little lower than the previous one, but still a good time. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. The Spray Park opens on June the 24th. It'll be open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday and Sunday 12 to 5. For Elmwood Park residents, it's $5 a day, non-residents $10 a day. Season passes are also available at $70 a resident and $80 for non-residents. It's a way to keep cool in this heat. The summer concert series will kick off on Tuesday, July 9th, and it'll run every Tuesday until August 27th. There will be a movie night and camp out on Saturday, July 20th. It'll start with a barbecue at 6 p.m. The movie Kung Fu Panda will start at 9, and it is sponsored by Spencer Savings. The next rec board meeting will be September 26th. I had the pleasure of attending the Senior Awards ceremony on June the 11th. Congrats to all the students on their accomplishments and their well-deserved rewards. The middle school had their graduation on 6/14. Unfortunately, as an officer of the Elks, it was my obligation to attend the Flag Day ceremony. But I'd like to congratulate all those students and wish them good luck in high school. The high school had their graduation on Tuesday. We were grateful for the breeze and the cold water that they provided. Congratulations to the class of 2024. I wish you all success on whatever path you follow. The next Board of Ed meeting will be Tuesday, June 25th. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Pam, I would assume that the spray ground is very well appreciated.
I would think
This
so,
one.
right?
Huh? Yeah.
Right, with this kind of weather.
You know, just to reminisce, there was a time when there was no way to cool down a child in Elmwood Park other than personal home pools, but for the general public. And I want to say about 15 years ago. And Richie DeMoro was the director at the time. And he said, we should be doing something about this. I agreed. And we went out to other towns and we looked at spray grounds. And lo and behold, we brought a miniature spray ground compared to the ones we saw. We saw parks to our town, and it's been working out ever since. And it gives our people an option.
Next up is town pool, Mayor.
Town pool. The last person that wanted a town pool, at the time it was $3 million. He didn't get reelected, if I can bring that into it. But very costly. But at least we have something here that serves the need. I recall, and I'm getting a little philosophical here, I grew up on a dead-end street in Passaic, New Jersey, and at the end of the street, there was a fire hydrant. And just like you see in the early movies, I'm talking about 52, 53, 54. On a day like today, the superintendent of the DPW in Passaic would come with that big wrench, open it, put a screen on it first, then open it up, and we just went crazy. So some good memories. Moving along, Council President Sheridan.
Thank you, Mayor. On June 10th, it was a Monday night in the courtroom, we had a police night. I just want to reach out to Mike and the police department. It was very educating. Thank you for your time. Thank you to all your officers. We had about 35 people. I mean, I thought it was very educated. I just wanted to give you a big thank you for that. Tuesday night was last Tuesday was the high school senior awards. The mayor could not be there, so I stood in for him, and it went very well. It went very, very well. You know, little long.
Is that because I wasn't there?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I kept it short and sweet. So yeah.
Okay.
Flag Day, the Elks. I just want to give a shout out to thank you to the chief for that, and to the Elks. I was not there, but we had to have it inside. I think everybody would prefer it outside, but due to the weather. The summer fair, is that what they called it this year? It wasn't a big hit as the spring festival was, the street festival was.
Yes.
I don't know if it was because of the day, because it was Father's Day weekend, and a lot of people go away for the Father's Day weekend, but the weather was nice. I mean, I was under a tree and
Yeah,
shade. It was
I think
nice.
Father's Day had a lot to do with it.
I think so.
You know?
I think if we do that next year, we should maybe.
Yeah, on an off day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And today was the luncheon. I just want to give a big thank you to Councilwoman Lorraine Pellegrin, Angela, Dion. We're there for you. Yeah, we're there for you. That's it, Mayor.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's plenty.
Short and sweet.
Yes. Well, I don't know how short it was, but it was sweet, to say the least. So, Mike, this is your night here. I got two things before I go to you, Mike. That spray ground cost, I want to say, $220,000. And what we did was we piggybacked two grants, open space grants, and brought it in for $65,000. That cost the residents of the town $65,000. The balance was paid for by grants, and that's good planning. That's the reason I brought that up. Now, getting back to you, Michael, this is your night because I want to read something that came from Mr. Iachetti, our superintendent at the high school. I want to thank Chief Foligno and his team for all the support he has provided to the district this year and throughout the graduation. And he goes on to say, as always, he has provided extra support to the district with security of the campus and the surrounding areas and assisting in making the ceremony memorable. Thank you, Chief. With that said, we should move along here now. May I have a motion to open the floor for public comments?
So moved. Second.
Anyone from the public here to speak? Yes, sir. Could you please come forth, give us your name, your address, and we'll get acquainted.
How are you? Is this on? Hello. Craig Sullivan. I live corner of Washington Boulevard, 184. Been a resident about 24 years. I don't know if this is the right forum or whatever. This is my first meeting I ever came to. I just have a lot of concerns with the streetscape project and all these lights. They're so bright, they're so obtrusive, and being that my house is on Washington and yet the boulevard, I know we're supposed to be slated to be the next phase, and it's just, it's not going to work for me as a resident. So I don't want bright lights in my backyard, bugs and all this other stuff, and driving down with these lights now, it's actually more of a hindrance than a help. So I don't want to be like the Debbie Downer, but I don't know if this was really thought out all that well, and there's quite a few state assembly things that are trying to be passed about light trespass and light pollution and whatever, and the brightness of lights. It's just, I know the project is meant to do the right thing, but it's just not. There's over 40 lights between where you started and where you end up Route 80, plus all the street lights. There's more lights there than there is on Market Street, where you would want to bring people to shop and do whatever. I just don't understand it, and again, it's going to affect my quality of life. And over the past 24 years, I never made any complaints. Not really going to make a complaint tonight. It's just a concern that more and more traffic is directed towards the boulevard because of all the stop signs that were put on East 54th Street. We've had pedestrians hit. We had a pedestrian killed in front of my house, hit by a bus. They put in blinking lights. One deer has been hit. They put a sign up for a deer. It's a lot for the people along the boulevard to just take over and over and over. And I use my property quite a bit. Got a pool, got a deck. I don't want that obtrusiveness going on to my property. I highly doubt it's going to be stopped, but I figured if I don't say something, how am I ever going to get anywhere? And it's not to come out that way. It's just, it doesn't even follow suit to what's on Ackerman. Like if you look at Ackerman, the lights are nice, they're faint, they're dim. You go to any other town, Oradell, New Milford, Ridgewood, they're not bright. I don't know if that's just the wrong bulbs or somebody spec'd something wrong. It's pretty much a sight. And I work shift, and I come home, 4 in the morning, or go to work at 4 in the morning. It's like a landing strip going down the boulevard. Sir,
And I completely understand what you're saying about privacy. But it's funny, especially in that area, going from, let's say, Washington to the Route 4, we get a lot of complaints that it's too dark. So it's a delicate balance here. You know, we don't want to be intrusive to you. And the same token, we have to balance out the kind of feedback we're getting. Now, if there's a way we can possibly, we checked that out already, Mike, that they can't dim those lights.
So what we looked into was, is there a different bulb? Is there a frosted glass? Engineers are still looking into that along with PSE&G to see if there's a way to either, you know, reflect it away from maybe the homes or whatever. They're still doing that evaluation. So we'll let you know when we figure that out.
And again, I appreciate everything. It's just, you know, I'm not a lighting expert, but, you know, I do work for a utility. All those lights, there's no shield on them. They're going right into people's homes. And I know certain stretches of the boulevard might be two-family and they might be rental. My house is not. I chose to live on a quiet residential street. That's like, there's more lights than a highway. I mean, it's just, it doesn't, to me, and I know it's my opinion alone, doesn't beautify anything. How do you have more lights on the boulevard than you do on Market Street when you're trying to promote business? You know, it's not a walking path. I get it by the park and by Garfield Water. It's dark. It's frankly dangerous. People cross the street there. There's no crosswalk. They're supposed to go to the corner. They don't. I understand it. I understand the balance that you guys have to do. But again, my concern is that I'm going to be sitting in my back deck and there's going to be a light blaring in my room, or it's going to be buzzing, or there's going to be bugs, and just the energy wasting.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know,
so we'll look into, and I'm not just.
No, I get it. This is
sweeping
bigger
this under the carpet
than a 5-minute conversation, but I just felt that if I don't involve myself in trying to ask the questions and get the feedback, well, then I need to just keep it to myself then. If I don't ask a question and have you guys come back to me, then it's nothing ventured, nothing gained. So that's what this is all about. It's not an attack or anything like that.
No, we're not taking it that way. You're a gentleman. You can see you're a gentleman. What we will do is we will search for a softer lens or reflector, and maybe it could just be isolate the one by his home. If we get other complaints, we could add it on. But we will take to heart what you're saying here tonight, sir, and we'll explore it. Let me put it that way.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. And again, I don't know when the next phase is even due to go, but from what my wife actually read, we're the next section to go. It's from Phillip to my block. So I just want to see, because there is some sections where there's like 3 lights and then they skip, and I guess, you know, because of electrical engineering and whatever, it doesn't fit, or tree roots or whatever the case may be. But I would like to have some sort of feedback to maybe where they're located, or how many are located, or even the bulb brightness. You know,
well, we'll certainly tell them to skip your area, that's for sure.
I take great pride in my home. You know, when Mayor Moeller used to go around and do all the house beautiful stuff, I have a lifetime house beautiful. I mean, you've seen my property. I'm out there all the time. I talk to a lot of people. I take care of my lawn. I do all the things that I'm supposed to do, and it's just, to me, I don't want to say it's an invasion of privacy, but it's like, it's a little bit too much. You know, I didn't choose to live on a main Yankee Stadium. I want quiet and quaintness in my own sanctuary. That's all it amounts to.
Thank you. Your thoughts were well taken and appreciated. Okay.
Mr. Sullivan, Sergeant Wood is going to get your contact info.
I had email from you. I'll resend the yellow lights and stuff, but I'll give you. Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak from the public? Yes, Jeannie?
Okay. My question is, with the boulevard lights, there are old lights there from Public Service, which are on as well as the new ones. Is there any plan to get rid of the old ones?
I wouldn't think so. I think but I don't know. They come and they measure with a meter the amount of light. So to that point, I don't think we've addressed that, right, Mike? We haven't had no problems with that.
So we can request them to be turned off. When I looked at it myself, it looks like the majority of them are at intersections, which I personally wouldn't recommend turning off because they light up the intersection, whereas the decorative lights don't necessarily do that. I know they're bright, but they don't really aim the intersections, and the overheads are at intersections. So I would recommend not, but that's up to you, Mayor.
I realize I don't live on the boulevard, but I've noticed in Fairlawn, in a lot of cases, they have turned the lights off. Just an idea I had. Another thing is a pet peeve of mine. When you are coming down Church Street to make a right onto Market Street, there are frequently cars parked at the corner by Vicario's corner. And I know for a long time there were some things put there so nobody would park. Apparently, well, they're still there. They must move them because there are a lot of people who park there. So if I go to make a right, or someone goes to make a right, it's dangerous. Yes, I realize I don't have to make a right, and a lot of times I don't. But if somebody tries to make a right, these cars, I guess, are parked illegally, and, it could cause an accident. Just
Mrs.
an idea.
Freitag, it happens to be a pet peeve of mine as well. I will be out there having lunch in my full uniform, and a person will park illegally right in front of me. So it's definitely a challenge for us to police that. We're aware of
I
it,
just
and
don't
we're
want
trying.
anybody to have an accident.
Neither do I.
If
You're
people
absolutely-
didn't see it, I would report it.
You're absolutely right. If you see it, please call the police desk.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Anyone else care to speak? If not, I will close the public portion. I guess that's all the business we need to conduct this evening, right? You have anything? Okay. I guess it's a motion to adjourn then.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.